What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that you're pumped because the 2022 NFL Draft is now less than 2 weeks away. I'm putting this video together on Saturday, April 16th, 2022, just for full context because this is a crazy time of year. Times change, things change, variables change, trades happen, and everybody is so focused on trades. Anytime a trade happens, it's, oh, somebody traded this. What did they get? Let's grade the trade, etc. And Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys owner, president, and general manager, stirred the pot this week on the trade front when the Dallas Cowboys announced their major business announcement earlier in the week, which was a partnership with a cryptocurrency company. But nonetheless, Jerry did talk about the draft and the potential of trading up. Now, a lot of people actually did see this as trading up, but one of our writers, Danny Phantom at bloggingtheboys.com, actually took a different approach on the subject, which I thought was very interesting. We'll get to that, but let's go ahead and get the quote in case you somehow missed it. Now, here's what Jerry said. I would trade up this draft. I would trade up since we're down as low as we are in those first 2-3 rounds if we had a chance to, and someone we really coveted was sitting at the bottom. If Frederick, talking about Travis Frederick, who the Cowboys drafted in 2013, was sitting down there at the bottom and we were able to trade up there and get them. Now, I'm going to leave the quote up here because I think it's important. In case you forgot, the Dallas Cowboys did draft Travis Frederick in the first round back in 2013. However, they did trade not up. I think that we are all focused on that word right now, and this was Dan Rogers' point, Danny Phantom, over at bloggingtheboys.com. Because we think trading up, the way we talk about it, is moving up in the order. This is kind of a, the chicken or egg came first sort of thing, tomato, kind of argument. Is up further up towards one, or is up literally up? Is up higher in quantity? Is, the Cowboys have the 24th pick, would up being a larger number, therefore back in the draft, down in the draft, so to speak. So there are some semantics involved. And the reason that kind of comes into play from a conversational standpoint is when the Dallas Cowboys traded and wound up drafting Travis Frederick, they traded back. The way most people would kind of verbalize that is they traded back. They moved down in the draft order, not up. The Dallas Cowboys actually haven't moved up in the first round since 2012, the year before they drafted Travis Frederick. So back-to-back years, we saw the Cowboys move up and then move down. The way we're defining those words here, the Cowboys moved up to number 6 overall in 2012 to draft Morris Claiborne. That didn't really work out, at least relative to the hype. Mo was a fine player, but not game-changing revolutionary corner, which was unfortunate. But the Cowboys are seemingly not in a situation where trading up would make sense. If you look at all their picks right here, 24 overall in the first round, 56, 88. Those are their top 100 picks. We've been doing, by the way, mock drafts every single Monday here on our YouTube channel, myself and Connor Livesy. Connor actually has a draft guide that he put together that is available. You can get that. Just head to his Twitter account at Connor NFL Draft, a must-have for this time of year. And then 129, 155, 167. The 167 pick comes by way of the Cleveland Browns, of course. Shout out to Amari Cooper. 176 and 178 there in the 5th round as compensatory picks, and then 193 to round it out as of now. 4 5th-round picks for the Cowboys. And the reason that this is so interesting is trading up the way we're defining it. Again, I think that's so important that we're specific because of the language associated with this. It would not be a great idea. The Cowboys have a lot of needs to address, and so moving forward in the draft, moving closer to the beginning of the draft would not exactly be wise. The Cowboys have 9 selections as of now, and they have a lot of starting spots to fill. We've talked about this in previous videos here on the channel. In fact, they really need these picks. They can't just do it with one pick, and that was when this quote was started to fly around, whatever. A lot of people thought this would not be the right way to go for the Cowboys. Yes, there are some talented players, but every mock draft you do, and these are just mocks, they're simulations, they're not necessarily gospel, they're not 100% indicative of how things are going to unfold come draft night, but any general simulation you do, there are people available that make sense for the Cowboys at 24. Any kind of simulation, I challenge you, go to whichever provider you prefer, and you are going to be faced with some situation where Kenyon Green's available, where Zion Johnson is available, where Treylon Burks is available, where Chris Olave is available, where Tyler Linderbaum is available, where George Karlaftis is available. I would challenge you to do a mock draft, to do a simulation to where none of those players would be available. Now, are there more preferable options in that group of 6 players? Of course, there are ways we want to see the Cowboys be able to go? And sometimes, the board falls your way. Sometimes it doesn't. You think about last year when the Cowboys got completely wiped out. We all said, oh man, one of these corners is for sure going to fall. One of Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn. But Carolina takes Horn at 8. Denver takes Surtain at 9. And we're panicking. If you were with us that night last year during the draft when we were on live, we will be on live, by the way, again, all throughout the draft this year. So make sure to subscribe so you're part of that fun with us. Everybody said, I asked, what do you want to do now? The corners are gone. Everybody said, trade back, get out, trade back, not trade up, by the way, Jerry Jones. And that's what the Cowboys did. They moved back from 10 to 12 with the Philadelphia Eagles, sent Devontae Smith there, and then the New York Giants traded back as well. Pay attention, Jerry, with the Chicago Bears. There goes Justin Fields. Dallas takes Micah Parsons and changed their defense for the next decade. And so sometimes it works out. Sometimes when all of the options who you think you're going to like, when they're gone, sometimes you can make lemonade out of those lemons. And the Cowboys did that last year. Credit to them. They got lucky. Both of those things can be true. But I still, even though the Cowboys are picking all the way down at 24, have a hard time envisioning how one of those players is not going to be there. The Cowboys have holes along the offensive line, specifically a left guard. They have a hole at wide receiver. They need a starting caliber receiver, obviously, with Amari Cooper gone. Yes, Michael Gallup got paid, and CeeDee Lamb's going to be the one, but you need a lot of receivers in today's NFL. They have a hole at edge rusher because of what happened with Randy Gregory and the aforementioned Denver Broncos. And so any one of those directions makes sense, but they also have to address, obviously, all of those positions all throughout the draft. They can't do it all with just one pick in the first round, which is why when this quote started to fly around, again, a lot of us said this would not be wise for the Cowboys to move forward in the draft, to get closer to the first overall pick. That is how we generally define trading up. That's kind of how football Twitter, the football community, tends to do so. And when you look at it again, these are all of the Dallas Cowboys draft picks. They need to use all of them. In fact, the play that makes sense is actually trading back from 24, trading down, trading further away. You want to move behind the pick that you are currently at. I don't know how many ways we can possibly verbalize this to be crystal clear so that we don't have any bits of confusion or points of confusion. We did that last Monday in our mock draft, Connor Livesey and I. We did that last Monday. We traded back from 24 to 29 or 30 with the Kansas City Chiefs. You can go watch that yourself. And we still wound up with Zion Johnson. We picked up a top 100 pick in the process. That pick became Sam Williams, the edge rusher out of Ole Miss. And that's two birds, one stone, right? You still get your starting left guard in Zion Johnson, and you get a very promising edge rusher who can impact the game now in Sam Williams. That's the move that makes sense. And that's why when you look at Jerry's quote again here, and I'm going to read it one more time, I would trade up this draft. Don't get hung up on that word. I would trade up since we're down as low as we are in those first 2-3 rounds if we had a chance to, and someone we really coveted was sitting at the bottom. If Frederick was sitting down there at the bottom and we were able to trade up there and get them, it's possible. And again, big shout out to Danny Phantom, one of our writers, our fantastic writers at bloggingtheboys.com, who unlocked this thought for me on Twitter at DannyPhantom24. He did write about this idea as well at bloggingtheboys.com. I mean, that's what the Cowboys did. They valued Travis Frederick in 2013. They were able to move back in the draft with the San Francisco 49ers. They picked up a third-round draft pick. That became Terrence Williams. And I know that, everybody has their thoughts on Terrence, but he was a fine player for the Cowboys, and a fine player when you consider the way he arrived, and that third-round pick was achieved by moving back in the first round in 2013. Obviously, Travis Frederick was awesome. And so if you're the Cowboys, and if you can move back, if you can move to the end of the first round and still walk away with a day one starter at guard like Zion Johnson or Kenyon Green, obviously you have that fifth-year option attached to them because they're a rookie. If you can, even if that doesn't happen, walk away with one of the starting receivers, but you can pick up some extra draft capital in the process, that would be incredible. That would be really brilliant, honestly. The Cowboys, as we all know, have not been that active in free agency because they have prioritized the draft. Last year, they entered the draft with 10 picks. They ultimately picked up an 11th, as mentioned, because of the Micah trade, and they picked 11 times. I don't know that I think the Cowboys are going to pick 9 times. I do think maybe they do pick, but I think they'll dance around a little bit. We have seen them trade up before, trade up recently. I mentioned they traded up in the first round in 2012. The last time they traded up in general was 2 years ago in 2020 when they jumped up in the 4th round to draft Tyler Biadasz. That trade actually happened with the Philadelphia Eagles. But trade back, trade up, however you want to put it, but move away from the 24th pick. Go closer to 32 in the first round. That would be the wise way for the Dallas Cowboys to operate. My name is RJ. RJ Ochoa. You know me from all throughout the Blog and the Boys universe. Follow me on Twitter or Instagram at RJ Ochoa. You can leave me a comment here. We'll try to get to those as well. If email is more your speed, you can always hit me up, rj.ochoa@sbnation.com. Our 2022 Dallas Cowboys NFL Draft coverage continues here, so please do subscribe to the Blog and the Boys YouTube channel. We're having a lot of fun. We're really excited, and like I said, we are now less than 2 weeks away. So have a great day. I hope you have a fantastic day. Just maybe you have the best day of all time, like the greatest day ever. You know why? Because you deserve it. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time.